Hello YouTube and everybody else that may see this video. I'm doing a little reactionary bed video from the bed. As you can see, I just saw another interesting video that was up that mentioned different things about psychic sensation, and I wanted to just add my 2 cents because, you know, why the fuck not? Experiencing different amounts of psychic sensation has not been something that I had a lot of huge experience with until you know, the latter part of last year, the hinder part of this year, and recently. I just started experiencing it within the last like 9 months in total, I guess you could say. It started with Marcosius when I started working with him and being sexually initiated spiritually into the lycanthropic craft. Really, it wasn't any kind of physical sensation until I was really deeply into it astrally. What it started off with was like a almost burning type of heat sensation on the underside of my genitalia, and in between my anus, and also at the lumbar region, and then specifically in the neck area where it conjoins to the back of the head, that little soft spot there. And these are, of course, the Kundalini points lighting up. I did a really deep ritual with him where I just essentially carved his seal into the ground and did some blood magic with it, and then had a paper sigil of his on top of my chest to kind of beam the energy point from below in the earth into my center and trap it there. Now when this happened, I felt an overwhelmingly strong magnetic force after I felt the heat. It was almost like having 3 heating pads in those specific sections. And then it felt as if somebody had literally just like magnetized me to the ground. Like if you've ever been sick and you felt so heavy that you can't even lift the weight of your body, that's how it felt. But magnetized, like I was magnetized to the ground, I couldn't move. And then when I was in the actual initiation, there was a sensation of being touched to where I could actually physically feel it in my body, which was weird because it was an astral tie that I felt physically, showing you how much power was actually flowing through me in the current, and that the sensation of it all being very dreamlike and having a dreamlike haze and quality, and yet at the same time being very real time and affecting physical parts of my body was disconcerting at first, because I realized that I was completely without any kind of I don't want to say control, but what I want to say is I wasn't in any type of state that I was used to being in. It wasn't like taking drugs, and it wasn't like just getting there via normal meditation. It was completely ethereal. And that was one of the first times I'd ever experienced that. Now it's happened a bit on and off in between, you know, and those I consider to be the highest points. It happened recently, however, when I was working with Lefkarsiaks, and we were doing some work, and I could very visibly feel the effect. Like you could see it as I walked through the room. It radiated. It had that much power, and the connection was very feasibly noted. However, she asked me, and I had determined in my own mind that I would not use any type of substance to try and strengthen the connection, you know, to help me focus, to use as a focal aid. But she asked me, she was like, would you please smoke a little with me? And I had some pot, and I was like, yeah, all right, if that's what you want, then I'll honor you, and I will dedicate this bowl to you. So I did another chant in chanting that pot with Lefkersiex's essence and tethering the two together, linking the energy that was already imbuing my auric field of sensation to the pot. I took about roughly 9 hits and went to bed. After doing so, I could very much hear, her voice. And the pressure, what was weird is before I took those hits, the pressure in the ears had already built up. I was hearing the usual tones, but they weren't the usual pitch, they were differed. Obviously, this was the spirit trying to aid me in activating those areas of sensation so I could be sensitive to its voice and its presence. I had to willingly give up control for that to happen, and did so with the pot. It aided in facilitating that connection even more so. I was able to really kind of just relax my body completely and postulate the energy to the influx of her voice. And it sounded really metallic. It sounded really raspy and metallic. Almost as if it was like Microsoft Sam, and you crinkled tin foil over it, and it was just really raspy as well. But imagine a bunch of kind of shit over top of it as well. And that was kind of startling because I wasn't expecting that clarity to come through. I was kind of thinking that the channel was going to be wonky. And maybe that is the channel being wonky. Maybe that was why it was so metallic-y. But maybe that was just the quality of her voice. I'm not going to be a dick and say that, that was the situation and, that her voice sounds weird. I'm not also going to be a dick to myself and say that that wasn't me being prepared for the situation. I just think that my opinion I've formed off of it so far is that it has been what it was, and that's what it was. And she aided me in uncovering deep magics of myself. And now, because of that, and because I'm aware of these things in myself, they're facilitating themselves all of their own nature in accordance, which is really fucking nice because she's really helped me with a lot. And was so powerful that she didn't need to keep drawing me in again and again and again. But I'm definitely interested in her and what she has to show. And a lot of the other Qliphothic forces, because of the fact that, like I said, they're not venerated heavily. People call them lesser spirits. I don't know why they call them lesser, unless it's that they have less fame attributed to them. And in which case, why is that the case? Were these people just not able to hang it? Could they not get it up to stand to be around these beings in the way that they portrayed themselves? They've never shown me a malicious or malefic side that is harmful to me. If anything, they've shown an eagerness and a willingness to work with me because of the fact that they're not venerated. And so I say with that, Ave Lefkersiax and Ave Draco Sophia, Hodrakon Homegus. I think that you should definitely check these beings out if you are an occultist and you are aspiring to understand predatory aspects and bestial aspects, and you're trying to see the wisdom in that. If you are interested in that at all, and in understanding that part of your alchemy, and getting a hang of it, and if you would really, really, really like to have the power of knowledge over yourself to explore those hidden realms, they can aid you in a creative pursuit of how to wrench that out of your being, because they know the ways and they understand the tests. And even though you might not have the creative input in your current reality paradigm and perspective in order to do that. And so they shake these things up. And for that, a lot of people demonize them. And that's not really cool, man, just because you don't understand somebody's teaching technique doesn't mean that they're not efficacious with the right kinds of people. It just simply means it's not for everyone. So that's why I'm making these videos, is because in the future, even though there might not be a lot of people that support, you know, you look at Kenneth Grant, you look at Austin Osman Spare, certainly there are occultists that delved into the weirder of the weird aspects of spirituality. And to them, I look at them as more pioneers than the ones who did it in a chaste light. I venerate them even heavier. I had almost an obsession with Spare when I first started, and Grant. And my intelligence kept, you know, leading me back to read his material, even though my teacher at the time was being an adversary to me. She was like, oh, that's above your pay grade. No, you need to give me that book. You're not fucking ready for this shit, you know. How dare you liberate occult books and wisdom from the library. You know how pissed these masters would be? And then added on a side note, well, you know, except for maybe this guy. She was referring to Grant. Oh, the piety and the depths we delve. But I'm not talking shit. I was proud and blessed to have the people in my life when I had them in my life. And I've learned from so many different people. I've learned, and I'm still yet much, much, much more to learn. And so, with that, I bid you all adieu. Have a great day. Bye.